Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to 27th part of Real Estate App Development Series. In this part, we will show the details of the property, for example, property details and seller information. So let's start by opening the project in Android Studio. First of all, we need to get the ID of the property that we have passed in the adapter property class while starting the property details activity. We need to declare the property ID variable in form of string in class level, private variable, name it as property ID, type will be string, that will be nullable. Now we will initialize it in the onCreate function, property ID equal to intent dot get string extra because value of the variable is of type string. Copy the property ID key from adapter property class and paste it here. We will use this property ID to load the details of the property. Now the next step is to bind the layout file of this activity using view binding. Private let init variable, name it as binding, activity property details binding. We will initialize it in the onCreate function before set content view. Binding equal to activity property details binding dot inflate pass the layout inflator as parameter. And in set content view, instead of r dot layout dot, we need to pass binding dot root. Remove this code snippet. Now the next step is to create a tag in class level that will be used to show logs in logcat. Private value, name it as tag equal to property details tag. Now, whenever we need to show logs in logcat, we will use that tag. Before proceeding further, we need to show the property ID in the logcat using log.d. First parameter is the tag that we have defined in class level. Second parameter is the message we want to show in logcat, including the property ID. So, when this activity starts, this will show the property ID in logcat. Now we need to declare the Firebase auth in class level, private, let init variable, name it as Firebase auth, which will be of type Firebase auth. We will initialize it in the onCreate function, Firebase auth equal to Firebase auth dot get instance. After initializing the Firebase auth, we need to write some UI elements, and we will do that in start of the onCreate function. We will hide the edit, delete, SMS, call, and chat button in start of this activity. We will show the edit and delete option if the property is by currently logged in user, and we will show the SMS, chat, and call button if property is not by currently logged in user. So let's start by hiding the toolbar edit button. Binding dot toolbar edit button dot visibility equal to view dot tone. Similarly, we have done hiding the delete button, chat button, call button, and in the last SMS button. Now the next step is to start loading the details of the property. For that, we will create a separate function, private function. Name of the function will be load property details. After creating the function, make sure to call this function after the initialization of Firebase auth. Now come again in the load property details function and create an instance of the database reference value. Name it as reference equal to Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference. In the reference, we need to pass properties. Since we need to get the details of a property based on property ID, so we will pass reference.child pass property ID dot add value even listener object value even listener. This will require to implement two methods on data change and on cancelled. On data change function has a parameter of type data snapshot that has the details of the property. So we will get the details of the property from the parameter snapshot. This process might cause an exception, so we will enclose it in the try block. Catch block will be called if there is any exception while formatting data, getting data, setting data. So in that case, we will show exception to logcat using log.e and pass the e as third parameter. Now we need to create an instance of the model class from snapshot value. Name it as model property equal to snapshot dot get value and pass the model property class as parameter. The variables that are in model property class should have same spellings and data type as in Firebase real-time database. Otherwise, it will cause an exception. Also, model property class should have an empty constructor. After that, we have created a variable seller UID equal to model property dot UID. This is the UID of the seller. We will declare that variable in class level that will be of type string. Let's create another variable that will hold the price of the property value. Name it as price equal to model property dot price. We need to format the price in a proper currency format. For that, we will create a variable value price formatted equal to my user dot format currency and pass the price as parameter. This function requires a non-nullable variable. So we need to provide our default value in case of null that will be 0.0. By the way, format currency is the function that we have already created in myUtils class. The next information that we need to get is the timestamp of the property value timestamp equal to model property dot timestamp. We need to provide default value in case of null that will be 0 because variable is of type long. Similarly, we need to get the purpose of the property value, name it as purpose equal to model property dot purpose. And in case of null, we will provide our default value that will be an empty string. Now we need to get the category of the property using value of category equal to model property dot category provide default value empty string. Similarly, we will get the subcategory model property dot subcategory. The next information that we need to get is the number of floors of a property. Value floors equal to model property dot floors. Since it is of type long, so we need to provide our default value in case of null 0. Similarly, we will get the bedrooms value. Bedrooms equal to model property dot bedrooms. And next we need to get the number of bathrooms value. Bathrooms equal to model property dot bathrooms. The next information that we need to get is the area size of the property. I think we have not defined area size in our model property class. So open the model property class and define the area size. For that, we need to create a variable value, name it as area size equal to zero point 0.0. Set the data type double. Now we need to set it to the constructor. So navigate to the parameterized constructor. In parameters of the constructor, we need to add another parameter, name it as area size, which will be of type double. After adding the parameter in the constructor, we also need to initialize it in the body of the constructor using this dot area size equal to area size. This error is being shown because we have defined area size as a value instead of variable. So change it to variable. Okay, now open the property details activity since we have added the area size variable in the model class, so we can get it model property dot area size. Also rename the variable to area size. Similarly, we will get the area size unit of the property value area size unit equal to model property dot area size unit. In case of null, we will provide our default value that will be empty string. After that, we are getting the title of the property value title equal to model property dot title. Similarly, we will get the description of the property using value description equal to model property dot description and get the address of the property using model property dot address. Variable name will be address. Next, we need to get the latitude of the property. Variable name will be property latitude, which we will declare in class level. Property latitude equal to model property dot latitude. In case of null, we have provided default value 0.0 because this will be of type double. Similarly, we need to get the property longitude. Property longitude equal to model property dot longitude. Provide default value 0.0. Now the next step is to format the date. So far, we have got the timestamp of the property. To format the date, we have created another variable with name formatted date equal to myUtil dot format timestamp date, which will require a parameter of type long. Pass the timestamp as parameter. Format timestamp date is the function that we have already created in myUtil class. Now the next step is to check if the property is by currently logged in user or not. Based on this, we will show and hide some options. Before doing that, we need to declare the seller UID and other remaining variables in class level. Private variable property latitude equal to 0.0. Similarly, we will create another variable to hold the property longitude variable property longitude equal to 0.0. And next, we need to declare the variable seller UID. Private variable name of the variable will be seller UID, which will be nullable. Type will be string equal to null. And in the last, we need to create another variable that will be used to hold the phone number of the seller. Private variable seller phone equal to empty string. One more thing that is remaining is to create another variable to hold the property status. Private variable property status equal to empty string. Now come again in the function load property details and continue implementing the logic to check if the property is by currently logged in user or not. If seller UID double equal to Firebase auth UID, this condition will be called if the property is by currently logged in user. In that case, we will show the options to delete and edit the property and hide the options to call, chat, and SMS. Binding dot toolbar edit button dot visibility equal to view dot visible. Similarly, we need to show the delete button binding dot toolbar delete button dot visibility equal to view dot visible. After that, we need to hide the chat button binding dot chat button dot visibility equal to view dot form. Similarly, we need to hide the call button and SMS button. We also need to hide the seller profile info using binding dot seller profile CV dot visibility equal to view dot gone. In the last, we need to hide the label binding dot seller profile TV dot visibility equal to view dot gone. Now we need to create an else statement which will be called if the property is not by currently logged in user. Copy the code of if statement and paste it in the else statement. Since the property is not by currently logged in user, so we will hide the toolbar edit button and toolbar delete button. We need to show the options like chat button, binding dot chat button dot visibility equal to view dot visible. Also show the call button, SMS button, seller profile CV, seller profile label TV. Now the next step is to show or hide the sold label. For that we need to create a condition based on property status. So far we have created the variable for that in class level but did not get the value for that. Property status equal to model property dot status. provide the default value that is available in myUtils class. MyUtils dot add status available. So if somehow we get the null from the Firebase database, it will initialize it with the default value add status available. Now we will create a condition based on property status. If property status equal to myUtils dot property status sold, which is our constant defined in class level. In this condition will be called if property is marked as sold by the seller of the property. In that case, we will show the sold label using binding dot sold CV dot visibility equal to view dot visible. Now create an else statement that will be called if the property is available. In that case, we will hide that label binding dot sold CV dot visibility equal to view dot gone. Okay, and now the next step is to set the data that we have got from Firebase real-time database to UI. Let's start by setting the price of the property. Binding dot price TV dot text equal to price formatted. And next we need to set the date of the property. Binding dot date TV dot text equal to formatted date. Now we need to set the purpose of the property. Binding dot purpose TV dot text equal to purpose. After setting the purpose, we need to set the category of the property that is available in the variable with name category. Similarly, we will set the subcategory of the property which is stored in variable subcategory. After setting the subcategory, we need to set the number of floors. Binding dot floors tv dot text equal to floors and concatenate the value of variable floors. Similarly, we need to set the number of bedrooms. Binding dot beds tv dot text equal to bedrooms. Pass the value of the variable bedrooms. We also need to set the number of bathrooms using binding dot bathrooms tv dot text equal to bathrooms. Pass the value of the variable bathrooms. Similarly, we need to set the area size of the property. Binding dot area size dot text equal to area size. Pass the value of the variable area size and also value of the variable area size unit. Now, the next information that we need to show is the title of the property. Binding dot title tv dot text equal to title, which is a variable of type string containing the property title. Similarly, we will set the description of the property. Binding dot description tv dot text equal to description. And in the last, we need to set the address of the property using binding dot address tv dot text equal to address. Now the next step is to set the seller info. For that, we will create a separate function, private function. Name of the function will be load seller details. After creating the function, make sure to call this function at the end of the try block, load seller details. Now come again in the function load seller details and create an instance of the database reference to load the seller info. Value, name it as reference equal to Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference. As a reference, pass users. Since we need to get the details of a specific user, for example, the seller, so we need to pass the UID of the seller using reference.child seller UID. Now we need to add value event listener dot add value event listener object value event listener. We need to implement two methods on data change and on cancel. On data change is the function in which we will get the user info. This function contains a parameter of type data snapshot that contains the user info. So let's start by getting the phone code of the user value. Name it as phone code equal to snapshot dot child as a path pass phone code. Also make sure to call the dot value. Similarly, we will get the phone number of the user. So in the path, pass phone number and also change the variable name to phone number. So far, we have got the phone code and phone number of the user. Now we need to get the name of the user. In the path, pass the name and variable name will also name. Similarly, we will get the profile image URL of the user, change the path name and variable name, which will be profile image URL. Make sure to use same key names in the path as in Firebase real-time database. Now, next we need to get the timestamp of the user. Later on, we will format it to show the members instead. Now we need to create a condition if timestamp dot is empty or timestamp dot equals null. This condition will be called if we have got empty value or null from the Firebase real-time database. In that case, we will initialize the timestamp variable with our default value 0 as a string. This error is being shown because we have declared the timestamp as value. Change it to variable. The error will be gone. Now the next step is to format the timestamp to a proper date. Create a separate variable for that. Name it as formatted date equal to myUtils dot format timestamp date, which requires a parameter of type long. So we need to convert the timestamp variable to long. Pass the timestamp dot to long as parameter. The format timestamp date is the function that we have already created in myUtils class. Now we need to combine the phone code and phone number as a proper phone number. We have created a variable with name seller phone in class level. Seller phone equal to phone code plus phone number. So far, we have got the seller information from the Firebase real-time database. Now we need to set it to the UI, starting from the seller name, binding dot seller name TV dot text equal to name. Similarly, we need to set the member since date using binding dot member since TV dot text equal to formatted date. After that, we need to set the profile image of the seller. For that, we will use the glide library. This process might cause exceptions, so we will enclose it in the try block. In the catch block, we will show the exception in logcat using log.e and pass the exception as third parameter. Now come in the try block and use glide library to set the profile image. Glide.with, pass the context as parameter. Dot log, pass the profile image URL as parameter. This will set the image to the profile image. Now we need to call dot placeholder function and pass the placeholder image that is available in drivable folder with name person gray. This image will be shown while the image is loading. In the last, we need to call the function dot into. In this, as a parameter, we will pass the image view in which we want to show the profile image. That is binding dot seller profile image view. Now the next step is to handle the click listener of the back button of the toolbar. We will do that in the last of on create function. Binding dot toolbar back button dot set on click listener. Call the function finish. This will finish the current activity and move to previous activity. Now there is an issue. While adding the property, we forgot to add the area size. We have just added the area size unit. We also need to add the area size. So let's check where is the issue. For that, open the post add activity class. First of all, check if we have created the variable. Yes, variable is created. We have also input the value in the variable. We just need to include it in the hash map. So let's create another entry in hash map. Key name will be area size, and as a value we need to add area size. So far we have area size in the form of string, so we need to convert it to double using area size dot to double. Now when we add the property again, this will also save the area size of the property as well as other info. And with that, our code is now completed. In this part, we have loaded the property details, and seller info. In the next part, we will continue from here. Now we will start testing the app. Run the app in an emulator or in real device. While the app is running, copy the tag and paste in the log cat. So it will show only those logs which are printed using this tag. From the property list, click a property. If the property is by currently logged in user, this will show delete and edit options, but not call, chat, and SMS options. Click another property that is not by currently logged in user. It will not show edit and delete options, but show call, SMS, and chat options.